Hey guys, it's Meg. I am here this week with a new video for you. This is going to be our standard tarot reading for the week, so if you guys want to get a message from the cards, please come on in, have a seat, and we'll get started in a moment. Just a few quick housekeeping things before we get started. Number one, if you guys like what you see in the video, please go ahead and click the like, subscribe, and the bell buttons. That way you can stay in the loop for when I post new work. It lets me know that you like what you're seeing here and want to see more. Number two, I have included a list of my social media as and the decks that I am using for this reading. There is also a bonus reading for this as well, and all of that is going to be in the description. So take a look at that if you would like to know more, or if you want to see more of me outside of YouTube. And finally, as you might have been able to see, I have not been here for the last couple of weeks, and there's a couple of explanations that I want to give for that. Number one, life got really busy in the middle of July into the next part of August. Luckily, things have calmed down. Things are starting to get a little bit less busy, which I kind of like, but also am going to kind of miss the busyness a little bit. I have some family that are still in elementary school. They're quite young, but because of that, they were out of school for the summer, and at the time I took my break, I was busy watching them. I had a couple of days where they were being babysat, so there was that issue to contend with. The other explanation for why I was gone is that I was having some technical difficulties with my editing software. Turns out all it really needed was an update, but that update took a little bit to implement and work around. So I think it's going to be okay. If you're seeing this video, I figured it out. I should be back with more regular videos starting after this, but I've decided to move to a bi-weekly format for now because I'm still trying to figure out a few things around my new schedule. Now, I say a new schedule. I've started taking on some copy editing jobs here and there. It's mostly freelance, so I get to decide my own schedule and how many projects I can reasonably take. That means that I have a different set of deadlines now, and I do, because that is that's my job. That's how I'm making money for myself now. I have to focus on that. So this is why I've chosen to do 2 videos a month rather than go back to 4. Also, I do need to work myself back into that rhythm, just because I have not done it in at least, well, I haven't done it in 2 months. So I want to work myself back up. If I can reasonably do 4 videos a month, I will. But right now we're going to start with 2. I'm going to start back with 2. So hang in there with me. And actually, I did do a live stream discussing this as well. I will link that. I will put the link to that stream in the description. So if you want to participate with that, if you want to talk about it like that, let me know. Let me know by visiting the link. Comment, subscribe. You already know what to do. So yeah, there's that. I'm back. I will be here for a little bit. So let's get into the cards for this reading. If you are new here, hi, hello, my name is Meg. I'm going to be reading some cards for you. I usually start with some oracle cards and then move into the tarot. I feel that gives a complete picture of what we're seeing in terms of the energy around us right now. So hopefully this reading is helpful and resonant with you. let me know what you think, and I welcome the feedback. Keep it constructive, please. Okay, so to the cards. Let's see what we need to see for our main reading. Also, how I'm going to do this, like I said, we're starting with the Oracle, we're going to get into the Tarot, and I'm going to look at some main energy, and then we're going to look at some hidden and clarifying energy. Also, we have a bonus reading. So, let's see what we need to see. Okay, so the first of our Oracle cards is when I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. Okay. And I think I've surrendered. I surrender more. Okay. All right. We have indigo and platinum, which represents intuition, authenticity, and alignment. Okay. Okay. There's that. Okay. We have the Swan Queen, which represents transformation, intuition, and patience. Interesting. Okay. All right. There's the Swan Queen. Okay. All righty. And we have the Bat Spirit, which says a rebirth is assured. Okay. So the first thing that I got in my head is that some of you are kind of resisting something that needs to happen. There's some changes that you're going through that are, you're the type of person that you don't really process change very well. I'll raise my hand to that. I don't like sudden change happening all at once. Suffice it to say, if that resonates with you, there is some changes that you're kind of in resistance mode for, and you need to drop that resistance in order for it to happen. I'm getting here with the Swan Queen because it has the element of transformation here. But I'm also with the Bat Spirit because it talks about the rebirth here. But another common thing that we have between these two cards is the theme of intuition. Okay, so with these changes, with what seems to be going on, you might not be listening to your inner voice as closely as you should be. And I think that might be causing you to maybe miss some information that you need for this change to come a little more easily. Okay. Maybe you're trying to rush this change as well because it's so uncomfortable and you just want it over, right? That, maybe that's a factor. I think for the most part here, you're being asked to stop, to pause, exercise that patience. Stop, pause, and really listen to yourself in order to drop the resistance to this change. Okay. Something new is happening. Hopefully something better is on the horizon for you. And I think once you give yourself the chance to understand what it is you're going through, what it is you're experiencing, then that transformation will make sense and it will come a little bit easier. Okay. And so that's the Oracle reading. Let's see what our tarot has to say on the matter. Okay, because this is that's interesting. It's very interesting. Let's see what our tarot has to say here, okay? Okay. All right. Let's see what we need to see. All right. Okay. We're going to start with the Tower. So we've got our Tower. Okay. Got our Tower. Got the Four of Pentacles. Oh, yeah. Okay. At the Tower, we've got the Four of Pentacles. And we have the Ten of Cups. Okay. Now the Tower, the Four of Pentacles, and the Ten of Cups. So I think there's something changing around your ability to feel secure in your abundance, in your resources. Okay. I'm getting here because we have let me bring up the Tower and the Four of Pentacles here, both. You have the Tower and the Four of Pentacles here. So there's something about this change that you deeply fear will affect your ability to take care of yourself and the people around you. Okay. The Four of Pentacles is, to me, it's all, you have money on the mind, but it's not positive, right? You're really significantly worried about a financial matter, and you're worried about your ability to take care of yourself, okay? Because this change feels monumentally scary, okay? Oftentimes it's not depicted in this card. Let me explain that better. Normally with the Tower, you'll see a lightning strike and it crumbling. To some extent, it's crumbling. You don't see the lightning strike. There's people kind of diving out of the Tower here. The way I often describe that, the sentiment of that card is that your structure is falling apart, okay? And it's meant to be uncomfortable, and it's meant to be sudden, because it's meant to reveal something that isn't working in this situation. You have the Four of Pentacles, and remember I said this is money on the mind, but not in a good way. You're holding on too tight to a crumbling structure, okay? And it's not serving you in a way, it's not aligned. You doing this is not aligned with what you know you can achieve, okay? Now you have the Ten of Cups. You want the stability, you want the abundance, you want the emotional overflow. Maybe you're genuinely worried about how you're going to take care of your family, okay? Immediately struck. So I do a lot of personal readings for myself, and I keep getting things like the Four of Wands and the King of Swords and things like that. The reason I bring up the Four of Wands is to me, that is the card of home and hearth, okay? So I do think I'm getting that feeling that this is something is really deeply affecting your ability to be secure in the way you take care of yourself and others, okay? And change is necessary, but it's making you hold on to what you have a little too tightly, okay? And you're not letting the flow of things happen, okay? You know you can achieve this. I think you've achieved this emotional stability and overflow. You've achieved it before, okay? But sometimes, this is, cups are associated with water, and water needs to flow. in order for it to be healthy. Okay. In order for this situation to be healthy, there needs to be a letting go and a surrender. Okay. And that's uncomfy. That's not comfy. I get it. I'm not a person who welcomes change easily. Um, but sometimes it has to happen. Okay? Sometimes it just has to happen, and the consequences for letting it happen may really hurt and may be very bothersome. But there are good things. There can be good things to come from that. Now, your perspective in the moment might not get to that, and that's okay. All right. But a change, all of this to say, a change does need to happen so you can get back to this. Okay. What else? What else do we need to see? Okay, what else do we need to see? Show me what else. What else, please? What else? Okay. 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 Okay, we have the King of Cups. I like we're getting this. Okay, we have the King of Cups. Okay. We have the King of Cups. Okay. Oh, do you remember how we said 4 of Wands? Guess what we're getting? We're getting the 4 of Wands. 4 of Rods in this case. Okay. 4 of Wands. And, okay, we've got the 10 of Swords. Okay. Okay. Well, synchronicity being what it is, that we do have the card of Home and Hearth actually coming out in this reading. Now, I generally make no guarantees. So if I mention a card outside of the ones I pull, I don't make guarantees that we're going to get that in the actual reading. Sometimes it happens, and in this case, it did happen. So we do have the 4 of Wands. The situation is affecting your home and family, your ability to feel secure in those things, that you're doing what you can in order to help them, in order to help yourself and your family thrive here. Okay. I'm going to bring up the 10 of Cups again here, because you do have good people around you. You have trustworthy people. You have you have good people around you helping you establish their sense of security here. Okay. Like I said, though, with the 4 of Pentacles and the Tower, you're not so sure in your ability to maintain it. You can build it, you can put the structure there, but you're not so sure that it's firm under your feet. Okay. And part of that is that you're feeling the pressure of this responsibility. You really feel this pressure on your shoulders here. And I think something in you knew that it was going to be hard. It was going to be a level of maintenance you might have foresaw, but weren't necessarily ready to accept. Okay, you knew, like, it's the mindset of, I know this is going to be hard, I'm just not sure how hard in actuality. Okay, hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Okay, you were aware of the responsibility. Okay, and you're also aware that you're feeling deeply. You're very much a family person. If you're resonating with what I'm saying right now, you're very much a family person, and family is extraordinarily important to you. Okay, So you are deeply aware that this is responsibility that you've taken on. You're coming from the heart with this, okay? My advice, because we have the King of Cups, again, cups are associated with water. These are your emotions. You're dipping your toe in to this water, but you're also being advised to try to analyze versus react. So you see what you're feeling, you acknowledge what you're feeling, but instead of just reacting because you have to, you're taking the time to say, okay, here's the deal. What can I do with this energy that's productive and constructive rather than reactive and destructive? Okay. Let's leave that one there. Let's go into what else we need to see. Okay, what else do we need to see? Right? What else do we need to see? What else here? What else? What else? What else? Okay, what else do we need to see? One more shuffle here. Okay. All right. What else do we need to see? All right. Okay. We're going to see the Knight of Swords. All right. We're going to see the Knight of Swords. Okay. Knight of Swords. We have the Knight of Wands. Okay, we've got the Knight of Wands. Okay, Knight of Wands. And we have the Lovers. Well, okay, I'm going to see the Lovers and put that there. We have the Lovers. Okay. There we go. We have the Lovers. Okay. So, you're being presented with a choice. Okay, there's a choice in this situation, and you are having to weigh out the pros and cons of that. Okay, I think you've been aware that this choice will come up, and you know what it is. I'm not going to elaborate on that. But this is definitely concerning. I've made a lot of emphasis on the idea of family, and again, I'm going back to it because it does feel like it is very important to you. Okay, but there's some choices that you need to make that will likely affect your family. Okay, this is where I feel some of you getting into your head about it. That's fair. I see that being very valid. Okay. Here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. You've intellectualized it to the point that you've kind of, I think you've beaten the point out of it a little bit. Okay. You're in your head and you're just turning it over and over and over in your mind. Whatever these choices are, whatever these thoughts are, this is coming from a place of deep emotion, of deep understanding of your responsibilities as a contributor to your family and to your home. Okay. The sense that I'm getting here is that you need to stop being so hard on yourself. Again, you're resisting the change. It's time to drop that resistance. Okay. But it's also time to acknowledge what you are feeling right now, okay? Because there could be some resistance to those emotions, okay? So acknowledge what you're feeling, okay? But also acknowledge the fact that it's kind of firing you up, okay? It's really firing you up, okay? We've got the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords here. Why am I saying it like that? Well, see, to me, knights in the suits, okay, there are four, let me go all the way back here. There are 4 suits in the tarot, and there are 4 court cards in each suit, one of which includes the knights. Now, to me, the knights are the action takers. They're the ones doing the work, right? So you need to do the work to process your thoughts, to make your choices here. One thing that I got when I saw the Knight of Swords here is that you're in 2 minds about the situation, because on one hand you know that this change needs to happen. On the other hand, you don't want this change to happen because it threatens your sense of comfort and your sense of stability. Well, you got to take action in one way or the other. Advice, go back to your King of Cups energy here. Analyze it before you act. Okay? Analyze it before you act, and know that this resistance and these emotions are allowing you to really feel it. Just feel it deeply. Okay? You're feeling it deeply. Okay? This is hard. Okay? This is hard because I think your mindset is feeding. Yeah, your mindset's feeding this a little bit. Okay? It's firing you up, like I said here. You have fire and air, and those wands are fire, swords are air. So, it's just fuel on the fire of this resistance. Okay? Might not be the most helpful, but it is happening. Okay? And it might be time to acknowledge that and help yourself. Okay, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Let me move on. Okay? Yeah. We'll get that other card. I had a card fall out of the deck, but we'll get that in a minute. Right now, let's see what else we need to see. Okay? What else do we need to see? Okay. We're getting the Knight of Wands again. Okay, it's important. We have the Knight of Wands. Okay. We have the Knight of Wands. Oh, we have the 6 of Cups. Okay. We have the 6 of Cups. Okay. Knight of Wands, 6 of Cups, and the Sun. Okay. Knight of Wands, 6 of Cups, and the Sun. I like this. Okay. I like this because I think it confirms the fact that this is deeply rooted in your emotions. Okay. Deeply rooted in your emotions. I think what's gonna help you put things together here. Of course, acknowledge this. Acknowledge that this is deeply rooted in your emotion. Again, putting fuel to the fire here. What may help you put yourself in a more stable place emotionally is going back to the things that brought you happiness. Being able to remind yourself that you you were in a place of unbridled joy at one point in your life, and it may feel nostalgic, it may feel slightly painful because you can't go back to those moments. But the point of you reminiscing on those happy times is that you were happy once, and you can get back to those moments if you drop resistance to this change. Because I think this change is happening so you can build upon what those happy moments of your past brought you. Okay? You're seeing the balloons in this. There was a point where you didn't feel as burdened, as heavy. You didn't have as heavy a responsibility to others. Okay, so this could be giving yourself permission to prioritize yourself. Okay, maybe this is you taking a little bit of time away from, maybe not from work, maybe not from kids and things like that, but maybe this is having that piece of chocolate you've been denying yourself. Go have that piece of cake, right? Whatever it is, whatever little self-indulgences you enjoy, maybe this is you saying, I'm going to take some time where I can find it. I'm going to give myself permission to enjoy that little thing, that little piece of self-indulgence that I deny myself because I'm so busy taking care of everybody else. Okay. There's that aspect. We have the sun here. Okay. So immediately got warmth, happiness, clarity, growth. Okay. We drop the resistance. We allow the fuel to be put on the fire. Okay, so because we have Knight of Wands as a repeat card here. Okay, we allow ourselves to feel that. We allow ourselves to grow in that. Okay, and I think there will be some light put on the things we truly need to know. Okay, again, I talked at the beginning about listening to our intuition and giving ourselves a chance to, to really come to an understanding of where we are. Okay, it's going to happen when we give ourselves the chance to take care, and it's a lot of growth is going to happen within that as well. Okay. So there's the sun. Okay. Now that's our main energy here. Let's see what else we need to see. There's definitely some hidden energy underneath this that I want to explore for a little bit. I'm getting the sense some of you might have some questions, and hopefully our hidden energy is going to get us on the way of answering those questions. So let's see what we need to see for our hidden energy. Okay, our hidden energy. Okay, we're starting with the King of Wands. Yeah, our emotions are firing us up. I'm saying it like that because we have the King of Cups. So we have the King of Wands. Okay, we have the King of Wands. We have the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords. Interesting. There's the Eight of Swords. Okay, we have the Eight of Swords. All right. Eight of Swords. We have Strength. Okay. Got Strength. Okay. That's Strength. Okay. And we have the Nine of Cups. Okay. So first things first, let me just get this out of the way with the Nine of Cups. You're safe. You're actually in a safe place. Okay, the Nine of Cups to me is all about that spiritual and emotional well-being. Okay, so part of this resistance to the change that needs to happen is that you're not feeling emotionally safe to let it happen. Well, okay, maybe this is a reminder. Maybe this needs to be something that is put in your head a little bit more deeply. Okay, um, you're safe. Okay, there may have been a point where you put yourself in a gilded cage. Okay, because this was out of protection. You wanted to protect yourself from the fallout that this change was going to bring. Okay, but that's the thing with the Eight of Swords. I say gilded cage because you've put yourself in a pitfall. Okay, you trapped yourself and think, for better for worse, you did that. Just I need to protect myself. Period. Like I don't want this hurting. I don't want this to hurt. I just said that. Excuse me. But this is something that's like I can't deal with it right now. I really can't deal with it right now. I need to stay safe. Well, you've trapped yourself, and I think on some level you know you've trapped yourself in it. You're safe to come out. You're safe to open the door and come out. Now you might not be seeing how that could be, but this is why I'm saying pause, listen to yourself. You're gonna know what you need to make this change. You're gonna know what you need to open the door. Okay, because you're not as hemmed in as you believe you are. Okay, you're not as hemmed in as you believe you are. And if you need any further reminder, okay, you have the ability to overcome your more impulsive emotions, right? You have the ability to overcome this desire to just act rather than respond, to be reactive rather than analytical. Okay. And on top of that, you're more in control of your fire than you believe you are. Okay, you have the King of Wands here. Kings are the ultimate authority in the suits. Certainly in your life, you need to let yourself feel that authority. Let yourself be in that authority. Okay, we have, I think it was one of our oracle cards even suggested. Yes, it was. It was the sound card. It suggested authenticity and authority. Here you are. Here you are. You have the King of Cups. Here you are again. Okay. There's a situation that you have more control over than you're letting yourself believe. Even if that is going to bring enormous change. Okay. Yeah, even if that is going to bring enormous change to you, you have the ability to process that and integrate those changes. This was the card that I was referring to a bit ago. There's this one, and I believe no. Okay, yeah, it was just this one. Okay, but remember, we're talking about intuition and authenticity. I'm attaching authority to this card as well. Okay. That was our hidden energy here. Let's clarify everything. We just saw a huge, no, well, maybe not huge, but we have a pile of cards here. Let's clarify everything. Let's get it to where it makes sense. Hopefully you are resonating with this right now. We also have a bonus reading, so hopefully that will resonate with you as well. But for now, let's clarify our main reading. Okay, main and hidden energy. We're going to start. We got the Eight of Swords coming out on this again. So definitely in a pitfall. We made it for ourselves here. We have the Eight of Swords. Okay. We have the Two of Cups. Oh, beautiful. Okay. We have the Two of Cups. Okay. Got the Two of Cups. Okay. The Two of Cups. We have the Seven of Swords. Okay. Now the Seven of Swords. Okay. We have the Seven of Swords and we have the Eight of Swords again. So yeah, we're needing to address this mental pitfall that you put yourself in. Okay. And I'm notorious for doing this to myself too. So I get where you're coming from here. Let me get that other one up here. Give me a sec. Yeah. So we're this pitfall, this gilded cage, has felt it was comfortable for a while because it was safe, it was protected, it was easy to be safe here. Okay, this is where we are resisting. We have the Eight of Swords coming up 3 different times from 3 different decks. That is a pattern. That is not coincidence. That is not synchronicity. Something else is here. Okay, I'm talking with conviction because to me, if it happens more than twice, that's a pattern. Okay, there's a pattern of holding yourself back. There's a pattern of not seeing how unobstructed you truly are. Okay, what is putting you here is the feeling that this change is too much. It's going to be too much. You're not going to achieve where you want to go. Your responsibilities are going to crush you. Your expectations of yourself, your family's expectations of you, all of that is, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, if you're resonating with these Eight of Swords, you feel like your wings are clipped. No, they're really not. Okay, believe me if you want to, or don't believe me if you don't want to. That's up to you. Okay, you're doing this purposely. Okay, because you don't want to get hurt. You don't want to fail. Failure sucks. I know. I don't like failure either. Okay, but without failure, how would we learn? How would we grow? How would we change? Right? Something's going to change. And this is the other thing that I'm seeing here too, because we have the Seven of Swords. I think some of this is self-deception. Okay, you're not being totally honest about the thing that you're doing to yourself. Okay, you're not ready. You're not ready to acknowledge this. You're telling yourself you're not ready to acknowledge this. Well, I think that's the point of why we're getting pause, stop, listen to your intuition, drop the resistance. Okay, because this resistance is causing you to self-sabotage. Okay, it's causing you to self-sabotage, but you're also missing lessons that you need in order to make this change a little more bearable. Okay, this Two of Cups is integration, it's blending, it's harmonizing. Okay, nothing feels like it's in harmony right now because you're not letting yourself find the note. You're really not letting yourself find the note. I don't know. I don't know. I hope this is resonating with you. Let's see let's see what our bonus reading has to say. I have a feeling that's going to tie in with our main reading, okay, with our hidden and clarifying energy, all of that. You have more authority in this situation than you believe you do. Okay, remember your King of Wands and your King of Cups. But also remember that this change is meant to align you more strongly with your goals. Okay, you might be in two minds about the situation, but it's not as insurmountable as you believe. Okay, we'll get there in our time. Okay, give yourself some patience and your time, and remember that I did talk about taking care of yourself, giving yourself permission to let yourself indulge in the things that made you happy before. Okay, but yeah, that's our main reading. Let me know if that resonated with you. Let's get into our bonus reading and see what else we need to see here. Okay. Okay. So let's start with our bonus oracle here. Okay. Okay, we're going to do this backwards here. We're going to look at the Otter Spirit, which says you are never alone. Yes, it does say that. I'm reading it backwards. You are never alone. Okay. All right. We have the Camel Boy, which says small steps and asking for help. Okay. We have the Camel Boy. Okay. All right. We have the Feminine Legacy and Aqua Aura Quartz, which represents grounding, stress release, and integration. Okay. Okay. All right. There's that. All right. And we have Joy is the ultimate creator. Okay. Okay, so to start our bonus reading, maybe some of you need to tap into your creative energy right now. Okay, you are feeling a little bit, I feel that there might be some stress in, you know what, I'm going to tie back to the main reading here. There's some major changes that are stressing you out. You really feel stuck. Okay. The way that might help here is tapping into your creative energy to find your joy, as well as ground and release some of your stress. Ground yourself and release some of your stress. Okay? You're being asked to understand that this energy is something you've always had. You've been encouraged to use it in the past, and you're being encouraged to use it now. Okay. Sometimes maybe this is just a way of allowing your brain to be distracted a little bit so you can take yourself out of the situation. Okay. But not only that, okay, you're going to give yourself the chance to find that inner voice again, because that's something that got encouraged in the main reading here. Okay. Now, tying it back to the Eight of Swords energy here, part of the pitfall that you put yourself in is you believe that you're having to go this alone. And the fact of the matter is, actually, no. Okay? Actually, no. You have good people around you. They want to help you. They want to see you succeed. Okay? It's just a matter of reaching out and knowing that these people are there. Okay? They're never far. Okay, they're never far. They're never far, but that it's never a shame to ask for help. If someone's making you feel ashamed for having to ask for help, maybe that's not the person you want around you. Okay, but that's a question for you to answer. It's not for me to speculate. Okay, so there is that. Okay, let's get into our bonus tarot and see what we need to see from that. Okay, so for our bonus tarot, we're going to look at the moon. Okay, we've got the moon. All right, there's the moon. We have the Seven of Cups. That's interesting. Okay, we have the Seven of Cups. Okay, got the Seven of Cups. Okay, we have the transformation. This is the deck equivalent for the card for death and the Rider-Waite. So this is the card for death. Okay, have death. Okay, and we have the Four of Swords. Okay, so ultimately you are safe. Okay, I'm gonna start there because the situation is big. It's monumental. It feels more than you can handle. Let's acknowledge it right now. This feels more than you can handle. Okay, all right, let's start there. Know that you're safe. Okay, you can give yourself the break you need. You can give yourself the chance to listen, to take care of yourself, to indulge your joy. Okay, but let's also acknowledge that things are changing. They are changing. That's a given. We have the card for death. Something will change. Okay, that's a fact. It's a fact of life. Change happens all the time, everywhere, anytime. Okay, that's just it. That's just it. But this change, it may feel sudden, it may feel rapid, it may feel like it's too much. Okay, and it may put you in a place of questioning your ability to take care of yourself and others, because you're keenly aware of that responsibility. Okay. But this change is going to put you in stronger alignment with your sense of duty and obligation to yourself and to others. Okay. This is deeply emotionally attached. Okay. Here's part of the other problem. Well, here's the other part of the problem here. You don't see the path forward. Okay, you don't necessarily see the path forward because it isn't obvious to you. Okay, you know you have options. You know you have a lot of options. Okay, you know you need to really, really pick and choose what is going to serve you. Okay, but the thing is, you're not really seeing what's in front of you because the way is dark, the way is obscured. Okay, and yes, you're being advised to pick wisely. Okay, not everything that glitters is gold. Okay, there's some fine print that you need to be aware of. Okay, you're only going to figure out what that fine print is for you when you give yourself the chance to pause and listen. Okay, so I'm going to leave this reading here. I just might have been a little rough. Felt a little bit of rough. Uh, Felt a little rough giving this reading just because it's my first one back, but I hope this is helpful and resonant with you. I hope that you have some insight in terms of what you might need to do next. Okay. Um, Please know that my heart is with you, whatever you choose to do. If you guys like what you see in the video, again, hit all the buttons, join me on my socials. I look forward to seeing you again in the next one. But until that time, friends, thank you for tuning in. I love you lots. Stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.